Welcome to Borderline Furniture RX. I'm Mara, and this is project number 36. Ooh, I can't wait to get started on this one. This poor china cabinet has the outdated Art Deco doors on the bottom and that really wonderful honey oak color that is so out of date. As ugly as this hardware is, I'm going to save it because everything comes back in style. Well, this was a little bit of a shocker. It was only like 1.5 hinges holding this door on. I used to think that this wood Art Deco on these doors was some kind of great craftsmanship, but really it's just plastic, and if you can get between the plastic and the real door, you can just pry it apart, which I'm doing here. Wouldn't it be nice if this was really bird's eye maple? It's not. Sorry. I was so carefully removing the electronics on this when it fell apart. So glad I got rid of that hazard. What? I'm surprised by this. I shouldn't be, but I am. The top part of this isn't real wood. It's plastic. I cannot believe this. I wasn't planning to use it on this project, but I was planning to save it for another. Oh well, out it goes. Is this the hallmark of the 1980s or the 1970s? I'm not sure which, but it needs to go. Finally, it's time to do that thing that I've been wanting to do ever since I purchased this cabinet, which is to cut the top of this off and make it flat. Man, I really love repurposing, and this piece right here was repurposed from project number 34, and I'm going to use this for the faux drawer fronts. I saved back just enough to make 16 drawer fronts. I'm applying Bondo to take care of the holes that were left by the faux door fronts. With the holes filled and the Bondo sanded down, this seemed like a really good time to wash this piece. Washing is very important because if you don't, your paint might not stick. Ordinarily, I probably wouldn't remove the back on this piece, but in this case I had to because the shelf on the bottom is failing. And once I get it removed, I can see why. It's just because it's cheap particle board. Well, this shelf was really wedged in there, so I had to get out my saw to cut it in half and get it out. Earlier I said it was like cheap particle board, but really the shelf is more like cheap paneling. These faux drawer fronts are going to be glued to both cabinet doors. After applying glue to all 6 pieces, I then used a straight edge to make sure that each piece was evenly spaced and square with the corners of the door. So this is the back side of the china hutch, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't have any problems with the paint sticking, so I decided to prime that. This is Bear Oops paint, and the color is very similar to cracked pepper, which is the color of the year for 2024. I wanted to be sure to catch this on video because once you add paint, it really does transform the look of this door. Here you can see how those panels are starting to look like drawers. I'm adding a top coat, and this is Varathane polyacrylic in matte. I created a template that was the same size of each of the faux drawer fronts. I'll be using file card drawer pulls to give this cabinet the Apothecary look. I purchased these on Amazon. There were 16 for $12.99. Oh yeah, and the hardware was included. Bonus. After getting the door installed, I feel like this piece is finally coming together. Ordinarily, I'd just remove the glass prior to painting, but in this case, the glass was held in by a seal or a gasket, and I've never installed or removed one before, and I didn't want to take any chances of it not going back in correctly. So, at the advice of my friend, Crystal at the Crafty Creech, I decided to just go ahead and paint the glass and scrape it off later, which really worked out good because I had to clean the glass anyway. And once I got a better scraper, the job went really quick. So much better than having to replace those gaskets. So originally this cabinet had a door handle that had 2 screws on it. And while I did fill it in, it just didn't cover it up good enough. And then I remembered I had this faux keyhole, so I decided to add it, and I think it gives it something extra. Adding the handle is the final step for this door, and that means that this project is almost done. But wait a minute, what would an apothecary cabinet be without the iconic apothecary sign? This sign was created using my silhouette cutter, and this completes my project. Just a reminder of where we started, and here is the final reveal. This is the end of project number 36. Thanks for joining me in this transformation, and as always, thanks for watching.